Iceland, the land of fire and ice. With two buddies, we traveled over 2,000 kilometers along the Westfjord, the Ring Road, and Golden Circle during autumn. We visited amazing natural landscapes, glaciers, thermal zones, black sand beaches, experienced vivid northern light, and of course the waterfalls. The Westfjords is a large peninsula in northwestern Iceland and is the least populous administrative district. Fewer than 10% of all visitors to Iceland travel to the Westfjords, making it the least visited place. We left Raudasandur early in the morning for Patreksfjodur, which would be our base to visit three attractions, namely Raudasandur Beach, Latrabjarg, and Dynjandi waterfall. While getting there isn't easy, due to the twisting roads that slice through deep fjords, those who make the journey are rewarded with gorgeous waterfalls, hot springs, and charming fishing villages that seem untouched by time. We spent 3 days in the isolated peninsula. The Westfjords span more than 8,500 square miles, but are home to no more than 7,500 people. Away from the largest town, it is possible to drive for hours and pass less than a handful of cars. Many of the Icelandic beaches have black and brown sand due to volcanic ash mixing with the sand. Raudasandur Beach is different. Raudasandur, which means red sand in Icelandic, is precisely that. A beach with red sand, and it stretches 10 kilometers. We read that the magnificent hues of the sand differs with daylight and weather, and the beach ranges in colors from white through yellow through red to black. We planned to have our meals and enjoy a cup of coffee in the French cafe whilst appreciating the spectacular view as recommended by a blog. But the cafe was closed. So we continued our road trip to Patreksfjodur. Patreksfjodur is the biggest town in the southern part of the Westfjords, with a population of around 660. Patreksfjodur was a pioneering force in Iceland's fishing industry. Today, the chief occupation is commercial fishing and fish processing. Other industries, like fish farming and services, are also increasingly important. Tourism has been on the rise in Patreksfjodur, not surprisingly, as the village has gems like Latrabjarg cliffs, Raudasandur Beach, and Dynjandi waterfall within its reach. We checked into a hotel before venturing out to explore Latrabjarg. The distance was about 60 kilometers and took an hour and 10 minutes, driving through a mixture of paved and gravel roads. Latrabjarg is situated in the Westfjords and is a destination that not many travelers include in their Iceland itinerary. It is Iceland's largest sea cliff, stretching 14 kilometers and peaking at a height of 441 meters. The cliffs are breathtaking and very windy. This majestic cliff claimed to fame is that it is the westernmost point in Europe and hosts Iceland's greatest concentration of seabirds, including puffins, northern gannets, guillemots, and razorbills. Each year, the puffin season in Latrabjarg starts from the middle of May until late August. We did not get to see any puffins as they have migrated. In a country full of wide open space, the Westfjords are one of the least populated areas. It can often feel like you have the region all to yourself. No battling crowds for a view of the mountains or the cliffs. No sharing the road with tour buses. On our way back to Patreksfjordur, we came across the Gada BA-64. It is Iceland's oldest steel ship, a former whaling and fishing vessel, now lying on the Patreksfjord shoreline. It was retired from service in 1981 and is an example of a historical artifact living harmoniously with its natural surroundings, offering visitors an opportunity to reflect on the past in a beautiful natural setting. We had an early dinner and planned to retire early after a long day, but were awakened by our friend alerting us of the presence of northern lights right in front of our hotel.
We are lucky to be able to witness aurora.
Beautiful.
We had an unforgettable experience being the audience of the symphony of this beautiful hue of green lights dancing in the sky of the land of ice and fire. Our second day at Westfjords is expected to be hectic, with the distance we planned to cover through the twisting fjord roads, stopping over at small villages. While driving on Road 62 in the Westfjords, we noticed a huge stone man and wondered why it is there and what it represents. Upon research, the stone man is called Kleifabu and is approximately 5 meters tall. It was erected in 1947 by road construction workers in their spare time at night after a long day at work working with stones and rocks. We came across another stone man by the river Penna, called Pnennukarlinn, or the man by the river Penna. It was built by bridge builders in 1958, much like the road construction workers did with Kleifabu. These two stone men add life and character to the Westfjords. With a total height of 100 meters, Dynjandi is the largest waterfall in the Westfjords. There are 5 other waterfalls below it.
It's a very steep climb to go to the main fall.
The Dynjandi waterfalls resemble a bridal veil. Dynjandi is one of the top attractions a traveler must visit in the Westfjords. The view from the top is spectacular.
Spectacular view, breathtaking.
There were wild blackberries and blueberries along the path that we savor during our descent. We reached Pingeyri after driving for half an hour. Pingeyri is a small village situated on a spit of land in one of Iceland's most scenic fjords, named Dynjandi. It has a population of 326. Like in most other seaside villages in Iceland, the culture and industry has been shaped by the sea throughout the centuries. We drove for another half an hour and reached Flateyri. Flateyri has been a trading post since 1792 and saw its heyday in the 19th century when it was home to a fleet of decked vessels and a base for shark hunting and whaling operations. The fishing industry has always been vital for the villagers in the Westfjords, and in Flateyri, the tradition of fishing has successfully been linked to tourism as the village has become a very popular destination for foreign sea anglers. There are also some one-lane tunnels in Iceland. When driving through, you may need to pull into the passing places to allow oncoming traffic to pass. If the passing places are on your right, you need to use them. Our destination for lunch is Isofjordur. Isofjordur is the de facto capital and largest town in the Westfjords. It is known for its stunning fjords, mountains and valleys, offers outdoor activities like hiking, kayaking, bird watching and skiing. Cruise vacation packages to remote Westfjords to appreciate nature is an alternative, instead of going through winding fjords roads like us.
What's
The taste of Icelandic lamb is unique. The meat is tender, flavorful, and notably lean, with very little gamey flavor, which some have described as being similar to venison. Reason being, in Iceland, the lambs live in outstanding conditions, gazing at lush, grass-only diet in the summer and hay during winter. Icelandic sheep are not fed any grains, hormones, or antibiotics. We continued driving through the scenic route with deep fjords and stopped over for a break at one of the rest areas.
coming for a stop?
We had the place all to ourselves and enjoyed some hot steaming coffee and snacks, while appreciating the serenity of the place and the breathtaking views of the surroundings. Always be vigilant of the presence of sheep while driving, especially when approaching areas where animals may be present, such as open fields, meadows, or rural roads. Our final destination for the day is Heydalur.
Room for the night.
Heydalur is a paradise for those who like birds' life and to take pictures of birds. It offers horseback rides in the Heydalur Valley. The hot natural pool in Heydalur is a few minutes walk from the country hotel Heydalur. Sitting in the hot natural pool, feeling that fatigue in your body float away, is a feeling like no other. On our third day, we had a simple breakfast and we continued our drive with our first stop at Holmavik.
Today we are going to make our way to Rally, and on the way we drop by Holmavik, supposedly a witch town.
Holmavik is a small fishing town nested by the large Fjord. A very popular museum in this area is the Museum of Sorcery and Witchcraft. The exhibition tells the story of the witch craze in Iceland in the 17th century and how witchcraft is presented in their folklore. The museum is on 2 floors and depicts the history of sorcery. Strandur was the setting for a witch hunting craze in Iceland in the 17th century. Due to its isolation, the locals have throughout the centuries preserved stories of strange beings, ghosts, and everyday witchcraft. We are not fans of sorcery and witchcraft, hence did not enter the museum paid area, but instead settled for coffee and cakes at the cafe. We left Holmavik and made our way out of the Westfjords region and headed towards Akureyri. One could easily spend a few more days in the region to really explore and get to know more about the villagers and their lifestyle there. Unfortunately, we do not have the time. Maybe someday we would revisit this region again and spend more days here.